Sandbach, and you've been called back by the company you gave your full presentation to for a second visit. They have asked that you speak only about the ethical aspects of the problem and to explain why your solution successfully handles ethical issues. You will have 10 minutes and there will be no question and answer. You may not use videos or slides. I went to the door to emulate one of the old professors I've always wanted to do it, close it right at that time. Nobody else comes in now. And to mix things up a little bit, in case your blood wasn't pumping, I thought maybe the first should go last and the last should go first. No, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to do that because I know that last group was like, we want to see everybody else. Okay, so we're going to keep the order, and the first group will be Captain University. Whenever you gentlemen are ready, I will start the clock. I'll give you a little bit and you can run in 2 minutes. All right.
Good morning. I'm Nick Spinelli. This is Billy Wilson, and this is Nona Laughlin. We're from CUA Consulting Services. We're pleased to speak with you, the president of IBECC Industries, today about your unethical culture as a business. Now, we have a question for you. Do you want to be a force for good? If you do want to be a force for good, then you need to think of the 3 most important people to you. That would be your customers, your employees, and your community. We propose that creating an ethical compliance office focused on those 3 groups of people would create a connection between you and them. Now, this is a 4-pronged thing. We need an aspect for health and safety, we need an aspect for technology, accounting, and harassment and discrimination. With all 4 of those under the umbrella of the Ethical Compliance Office, you, sir, will be a force for good.
So the first aspect that we want to look at within this Ethical Compliance Office is the health and safety aspect. So there are 3 focuses that we want to have within this health and safety aspect. The first being the health of our employee. We feel that the health of our employee is very important. From having things like hand sanitizers to safety things like masks in case of an emergency, we think the health of our employee is very important. The second thing that we really want to focus on is health codes. You have companies, you have federal agencies like OSHA coming in. They're fining people with $25,000, $50,000 for violating these health codes. We want to ensure these things don't happen by ensuring our employees the information of these health codes and making sure that they do not violate any of them. The final focus that we want to have within this aspect of our health and safety office is the safety drills. Emergencies do happen. We need to make sure that our employees are able to follow procedures in case of emergency and able to get to a safe place when these emergencies do and will possibly occur. So what is the value of health and safety within this office? Well, first of all, the overall well-being and health of our employees. By ensuring the health and safety of our employees, we are enabling them to provide the maximum productivity level for the owners, for the CEOs of this company. We're enabling them to maximize their potential for your companies. We're enabling them to drive the revenue up within their companies by enabling them to be healthy and safe within your company. So the overarching theme seems to be less worried for the CEO, less worried for the owner, because they're not as worried about the health and safety of their employee. They're more worried about all the other things. This isn't about just developing health and safety things that your employees just know. It's about developing that culture that all your employees recognize and are willing to establish within your company. So the second focus that we want to have within this ethical compliance office is technology. Far too often, we see employees acting unethically within their company. An example of this is the Uber privacy scandal that developed from 2014 to 2016. Within this, BuzzFeed saw that Uber was developing a tool called GodView. Within this GodView, their employees were actually tracking celebrities and tracking where they went, their day-to-day activities. This is terribly unethical for employees to do, and we want to make sure things like this do not occur within the workplace. Another focus within this that we want to have is ensuring that these employees are doing the right things in terms of technology. We want to make sure that they are not looking at things like social media. They're not looking at the Instagram. They're not looking at the Snapchat while working. And doing this will enable the maximum productivity for them within their workplace.
Third area where companies have ethical dilemmas often is in the accounting field. Accountants oftentimes will change numbers, often called cooking the books, for the benefit of themselves and their company. Something that we would like to do as CUA in consulting services is go into your company and establish a culture of honesty and ethical business practices.
The fourth aspect would be harassment and discrimination. Now, there are federal, state, and local laws with harassment and discrimination written all over them. That's not enough. You need to go beyond that. You need to create a code of ethical conduct. The creation of this code needs to incorporate top-level executives, minorities, women. Everyone in your company needs to feel like they had a voice in producing this code of conduct because they're going to be held to those standards. Once you've created this code of conduct, it needs to be maintained. If the top-level executive makes it a priority to him, that will trickle down to the lower-level employees, and that's what we're looking to really respect that culture. Further, it's going to be able to develop. Times change, personnel changes, technology changes. That's to be expected. But our ethical code of conduct needs to change with it. It needs to be up for a review every year, so that in an open and transparent process, so that we can create that culture that we're looking for. Some policies that we would like to see in the ethical code of conduct include a policy where all reporting of instances of harassment and discrimination go to the Ethical Compliance Office without any fear of retribution from top-level executives. Another such example of a policy that we would like to see would be the top. Whenever the executive, comes into a meeting, it's not that he is the senior-most person there, but he is an equal to everyone else there, so they can speak freely without any fear of retribution. Finally, when in terms of the Ethical Compliance Office, we see it as a way to create a culture for the positive, for the good. We said earlier that you want to be a force for good, and to do that, you need to create this culture.
In conclusion, the CUA consulting services will go into your company, create a culture of ethical practices, and be a force for good in your company. So to finish, we want to ask you, do you want to be a force for good, or do you want to continue as you are?